Right, in the third verse, something we need to really pick up on as terms of a structural technique. Right, the first thing I want to just pick up on is this, the switch of tense. We started in the first verse, if you go back and you look at it, we started in the first verse with the soldiers and the use of we, a collective of soldiers. We then shifted in the second verse, right, almost to a third person perspective. Right at the end of the second verse, we then went to a first person. Now, we go to a second person. So we start the poem as outsiders, observing, watching these men, these soldiers, who Owen is part of. We then went to the action. We were in the action with them. We were watching it. We were part of that action. Then we went into that first person, Owen. Owen's reflection. Owen's dreams of this man reaching out to him, plunging, choking, drowning. Now in the third verse, we've come to the second person. This direct appeal, this direct instruction. We start with a very clear image, a repeated image, a repeated motif, we're going to call it, which is in this, smothering dreams. Right? Dreams becomes a motif. In the last stanza, it ended with the dream. In the first stanza, we get the idea of the haunting flares, a dream-like haunting. We get here as well some smothering, that alliteration of the S sound again. What's important here in this metaphor is this word. If we go through and look at the negative diction that's used in this poem, we see constantly these verbs that are brutal and horrific, and smothering images, smothering parallels to drowning, suffocation. In the last stanza, we saw the suffocation of this young soldier, and that repeated image is here now. But it is in his smothering dreams, as if that psychological trauma that happens or occurs following horrific events such as these. You too could pace behind the wagon that we... Look at this dehumanising diction. Once again, another verb that we flung him in. Dehumanising. As if he's just like cattle. As if he is nothing. We flung him into a wagon. There is no sort of sense of respect. There's no sense of remorse. There's no sense of ritual or ceremony. You pick the dead body up and you fling it into the back of a wagon. Right? And watch the white eyes. Look at our alliteration here.
Oh my God.
And watch the white eyes writhering in his face. That sense of the alliteration of that W consonant sound, right, creates haunting. It creates, write this down, it creates a haunting element in this text. And watch the white eyes writhering in his face. Writhering, moving, crawling around, creeping around. That sense of being haunted, that sense of spiritual awakening, that sense of mystery is created. His hanging face. Then we get another simile. Like a devil's sick of sin. We get alliteration again. We get a sharp S sound to carry us through. Like a devil's sick of sin. We get a term, a connotation of evil.
Repetition. Yeah.
And a religious illusion. That sense of evil and suffering is evident here, and we talked about that in the thematic concerns of Owen. If, look at this. The use of the if is hypothetical language. This is a direct appeal to the audience, a direct appeal to the reader. When we get to the last line, it's going to become very clear who his intended audience is. If you could hear at every jolt, look at this, here, we're getting that sensory imagery. The blood come gargling from the froth corrupted lungs. So let's look here. All right, we call this a compound noun. Froth, corrupted lungs. We get the adjective of these lungs that are completely and utterly corrupted by the gas attack. Yeah. But look at the term here. Look at the verb again. Look at those negative verbs continually being used. Gargling, choking, that suffocation is repeated. Suffocation is a motif right throughout this text. Obscene as cancer, we get another simile. Bitter as the cud. Right, cud being another type of disease. Well, we don't know. He just died on the battlefield. Obscene as cancer, bitter as the cud, of vile, incurable sores on innocent tongues. And this should have been in this. Oh. Right, metaphor. Look at the adjectives. Viral, incurable, sores on innocent tongues. Vile, incurable. Look at that strong in terms of the negativity that he's creating. But look at this, on innocent tongues. He implies the soldiers are innocent. He implies, go back. Tongues refers to language, voice, words. What's the dulce decorum est mean? Sweet and noble. On their tongues they speak as if war is glorious. On their tongues they speak as if it is sweet and noble. On their innocent tongues who have yet to face the battlefield, the war is sweet and noble. My friend, personal address. My friend, and it is 100% sarcastic. 100% sarcastic. The true meaning of this poem is now revealed. My friend, you would not tell with such high zest, enthusiasm, vigour, to children ardent for some. Look at the language here, look at the oxymoron. Oxymoron, it contradicts. Desperation and glory contradict. The old lie, and this is where we get that return to tradition. Dulce et decorum est pro patria more. It's a cyclical poem. It means that we start as we end. We start with the Latin, we end with the Latin. It is sweet and noble to die for your country. Right, and that's an interpretation. Cyclical, yeah? Cyclical meaning. It starts with that and it ends with that. It starts with the sarcasm. So basically what has he done? He started with that as the title and then disproved it. He's disproved the sweet and honourable death. And at the end he says, do not lie to them. Do not go out there and tell these young children with innocence that it is noble and sweet to die for one's country. And that, in a sense, is the analysis of dulce decorum est.